Hello and welcome to Wisdom and Productivity, the podcast of Dr. Efraim Martinez. You might notice that today I am live, and it seems that this is the new way I'm going to do the podcast. I thought after my recent interview with the Teach Better podcast with Ryan Harcourt, I learned that perhaps video enhances what I'm trying to say so the message can go to more places and see where this gets me to. So, with this new way of doing this podcast, I am going to record this live and it's going to three places at the same time. It's going to my Twitter, it's going to my YouTube, and it's going to my LinkedIn. Let's see if it works. But the idea is that after recording all this and sending that video, I am going to extract the audio and upload it to the podcast to have the same message in different modalities for different people. And the whole idea is to share this message I have to share. So today I have the great honor of reading something that the Teach Better people was so kind to, first of all, ask me to contribute, and then editing and publishing this article. I much appreciate so much what you did. And what I'm going to do now is read this thing that I wrote and then share it also in my podcast to see, to get it to as many people as possible. So here we go. Love is the source, the schools of the new century. And I begin with a quote. Our capacity to love increases progressively, and loving energy has the capacity to heal ourselves as well as others. By David Hawkins. And her sister died as well. That was the story that sent me straight to the hospital of life. I had spent a lifetime ignoring my mental health as my family raised me to be tough and take it. Everything around me was crumbling because I was neglecting the vessel that carries the actions of a labor of love. I learned about palliative care nurses and their empathetic love, the love that does not depend on the outcome, but on making the experience as pleasant as possible. I learned about the proper preparation police officers or army officials need to have to face the reality that is, statistically speaking, any interaction could turn into the difference of someone living or dying. The same for firefighters who have to live an existence knowing that any workday could mean their tragic end. And here I put a pause to my what I'm reading because I just noticed that I skip a very important part on how I got to investigate palliative care nurses and firefighters and other professions that deal with high intensities of stress. And I wrote, when I sought professional help, I was compelled to think about other careers constantly exposed to trauma. And that's how I got into the part of learning from other careers. But here I continue. Ooh, the value of being life. I also learned the exact expectations we have when we attend a Freddie Mercury concert or the World Cup final. We expect no less than excellence. And regardless of a pandemic or not, the students and families we serve expect the very best from us at all times. The same way we are not concerned about how the dentist feels when they are cleaning our teeth or how the mechanic feels when they are fixing our vehicles is the same way the world sees educators. Still, Nobody signed up to be a modern educator. Virtually any teacher living never imagined that they will have to redefine the education system. None of us knew that schools are now more like hospitals. Schools are like emergency room doors that open and close daily, receiving the same children with who knows what is happening outside. Trauma lives in both wealth and poverty. And the truth is that a child performing great today might come tomorrow after observing their parents fighting. A child might be completely different tomorrow after a fender bender or after breaking up with their loved ones. A child is different the next day after being bullied on social media. And for this is a huge problem. Neither educators nor parents are in control. Tiny plastic screens are raising students. Our dilemma as a society, as a country, is that we continue to add frosting to a cake that in reality we must bake again. We have to throw away the concept of measuring students and educators by numbers and instead supporting them in healing first. We need to build up a brand new education system where we concentrate in the humanity of the student. A student consistently feels our loving attention is a child that will learn anything. And we cannot focus on the student's humanity if we forget the proper support needed by the educator. This proper support includes strategies on how to heal the heart of the student. We cannot positively impact a child's intellect if the child does not believe we, at the very least, deeply care for them and ideally love them empathetically. When my father was on his deathbed, one nurse shared with me that he was in his last stages. She approached me dearly when she did this. She placed her hand on my shoulder and looked straight into my eyes. I felt an emotional connection with this individual because I thought that she sincerely cared for my family and myself. That type of support of understanding our patients, students need is the type of professional learning our educators desperately need. This is something that can be done, but we need you to do your part, continuing to spread this message of the need for learning new strategies to properly educate the child in front of us. We need you to bring this to your meetings and trainings. We need you to tweet, blog, podcast, and just plainly communicate about it. No change will ever happen if we continue imagining that education is to continue as if it was before the pandemic. It is our duty to redesign the school of the new century with the love as the source of what we do. This modern school where students learn to infuse wisdom and productivity will catalyze tremendous improvement in the quality of their lives. This is something that we can do because this is the new century and you are the pioneer. This is the podcast of Dr. Efrain Martinez, Wisdom and Productivity, Peace and Calm.